everyone. I saw Professor Chidi Kalu. Yeah. Anybody wey know wetin good for am, don't look for Professor Chidi Kalu's wahala. Don't look for his trouble. Guy go dey sit down jejeje, you go look for him trouble. For 8 years, he and El-Rufai, they do gbos. All the things that El-Rufai, the way he used to carry himself and do whatever those things as governor, he thought he was the alpha and omega and stuff like that. Put cases in Kaduna. They had you know what it is with all of these cases. You understand, when they have it against you, you have to be going to the place. And Nigerian cases that can drag. Some of them, they go on for decades. And one of the things he said that which was where I saw this particular thing, and he said El-Rufai has been winning cases while he was governor. He was always winning cases, except for one that he didn't win, which was the one of Mekori, Audu Mekori, that he had that whole thing with. But as soon as he's out of office now, he has been losing cases. That was one of the things that Professor Chidi Kalu had said. But here it is: the court orders El-Rufai to pay 900 million naira for unlawful detention of citizens. This was one of those cases. There were these traditional rulers that had been detained by El-Rufai. But there are a lot of things that were going on. There was one particular one, I can't remember which of. Let me not quote a wrong name. So there was this particular thing. How do I put it now? A particular village district head, that there were some issues about it. They had gone to meet El-Rufai. After the meeting, I think the meeting didn't even end well. And then on their way back, this man was abducted by bandits, terrorists, and he was killed. And later on, when they will put a village head, a replacement, I think they put a non-native of that particular this, and it caused a lot of problem. But anyway, that's not really what I'm talking about as of today, but directly on this whole issue of this 900. And he said the Federal High Court in Kaduna has ordered former Kaduna State Governor Nasir El-Rufai to pay 900 million naira in damages for the unlawful arrest and detention of 9 elders from the Adara community in 2019. This is a case of 2019, so that's about 6 years ago. Some of the things that people are saying is that, okay, now because El-Rufai has fallen out with government, of course they are going to they are pinning things on him. That's from some of the comments that are out there. Justice Hawawu Buhari delivered the ruling on Tuesday in the suit filed by Awemi Dio Samari and 8 other elders from southern Kaduna. The court found that El-Rufai violated the fundamental rights of the elders and held him liable for their illegal detention. The court also directed the Inspector General of Police and the Nigerian Police Force to pay 10 million naira each for their role in the arrest and detention. And that's very good. Okay, and what I see here also is the fact that this lawsuit were at the persons, not even the government. So it is El-Rufai and not even the Kaduna State government. Like this one of the police also, I see even the Inspector General of Police, was brought in. And so the question that I will ask is that, which of the Inspector General of Police? So is it the current Inspector General of Police or the Inspector General of Police that was there at that time? Or is the police force just going to pay on behalf of the Inspector General of Police? But of course, with this kind of cases, they're going to go all the way to the Supreme Court. There's going to be appeal and another appeal until you get to that court of final ruling, final judgment. How did they call it? Court of final? Is it arbitration? Can't remember this thing now. But anyways, it's one of those things that it's going to get there. Counsel to the Adara elders, Gloria Balasin, welcomed the judgment, calling it a significant step toward curbing abuse of power and ensuring accountability, regardless of any immunity office holders may enjoy. Yeah, immunity does not stop you from being investigated. It does stop prosecution. So yeah, that's another thing also. Maybe it's a more recent case because he had to have left office before they can charge him directly, although they can go to court with the they can take the state government to court. But one of the things, the judiciary has a very huge role to play. Unfortunately, in Nigeria, it hasn't played the role that it's supposed to play the way it's supposed to play it. The judiciary, instead of being the last resort of the common man, is unfortunately the plaything of corrupt politicians, and the judgment, they go either the way of whoever it is that is pulling the string at the time that they are pulling the string, and they fall out of favor, or other people get into power. Those are the people that will now be pulling the string, and that's really quite unfortunate. If we have this kind of stringent measures against people who abuse the rights of other people, it's going to deter even institutions, from doing this. If police continue to pay 10 million every time they are used to unlawfully detain people, to step on people's fundamental rights, to take away people's fundamental rights, I think they will begin to get the message and actually begin to do the needful and put out their duties, their responsibilities, and be able to exercise their responsibility according to the constitution, that brought them, according to the laid down rules and regulation, that you have here. The judgment marks a watershed against abuse of power and accountability for abuse, whether the occupiers of the office are temporarily shielded by immunity or not. Ms. Balassin stated, even when people in authority enjoy immunity, it does not warrant executive lawlessness. There were a lot of executive lawlessness in Kaduna during the time of Nasiru El-Rufai, and it's just unbelievable. The arrogance, the audacity, the temerity, and the things that went on. Especially, I think the people of Southern Kaduna really had it tough during there, and I've seen a lot of people, the reports from a lot of people, that this administration, it's more, how do I put it? It's more inclusive. That's the Kaduna administration of Ubasani is more inclusive than what El-Rufai's administration had been, and even in terms of development, because they said the development that El-Rufai had done was like was tilted according to a lot of reports, coming from that angle. This ruling echoes a similar 217 judgment by the Federal High Court in Abuja, which awarded 40 million in damages to Chocolate City Group President Audu Korea, that was the one that I had mentioned earlier, over his unlawful arrest by El-Rufai's administration. And the question I think that would beg to be asked is that, did Audu Korea get that payment? Was he actually given the money as the state paid back, or is the case still, being appealed on its way to the Supreme Court? We have a lot of issues that need this. There are people who have suggested that we should have there should be Supreme Courts at regional level to be able to take care of certain issues that come from the region, like state, not necessarily straight Supreme Court, but regional Supreme Court, because you're having so many issues that are waiting for judgment. Some judgment are going to last before they even call it, maybe in the next 20 years or something, so that those ones will be taken off. And then the main ones that really pass those ones power should not be the ones that come, to the federal level. But hey, the way Nigerians are, people will say that a lot of these things will be abused. But then, what do you think? Thank you so much for watching. Bye.